The haunting of date night. I could feel the adrenaline pumping through my veins as I waited outside her house for our date night to begin. It was Halloween, and she had insisted on a spooky night out in the old abandoned mansion at the edge of town. Little did I know that this date would be a night I'd never forget, filled with disturbing backstories that would chill me to the bone. As I approached the mansion, I couldn't help but notice how ominous it looked. Its towering structure was covered in vines, and the windows were boarded up like the eyes of a long-forgotten beast. The moon was hidden behind dark clouds, casting an eerie glow over the decaying facade. With a shaky breath, I rang the rusty doorbell, and she greeted me with a wicked smile. "I hope you're ready for a night of frights," she said, her eyes glinting mischievously. Little did I know how frightful the night would become. As we stepped inside the mansion, the air grew colder, and strange sounds echoed through the halls. She led me to the grand ballroom, where an old gramophone played a haunting tune. The room was dimly lit by flickering candles, and shadows danced across the walls. "I love old horror stories," she said, "but this place has a real one of its own." Curiosity mixed with fear as she began to tell the tale of the mansion's dark past. Decades ago, it belonged to a wealthy family who were obsessed with the occult. They performed bizarre rituals and sacrificed innocent animals to gain power and immortality. The locals believed they had made a pact with malevolent spirits, and soon, strange occurrences started to plague the mansion. As she spoke, the candle flames flickered wildly, and the gramophone suddenly stopped playing. A chill ran down my spine, but she laughed it off, blaming it on old wiring. Eager to lighten the mood, I teased her about trying to scare me. "Who, me?" she said playfully, but her eyes seemed to hold a hint of something more. We continued exploring the mansion, making our way to the long-forgotten library. Books lined the shelves, each containing forbidden knowledge and tales of horror. But as we delved deeper into the room, we stumbled upon a journal, its pages filled with horrifying accounts of the family's dark rituals. Intrigued, she began reading aloud, and I could feel the words twisting in the air around us. Suddenly the room shook, and the books flew off the shelves, forming an eerie circle around us. Panic set in as the ground beneath us rumbled, and a ghostly figure emerged from the center of the circle. It was the restless spirit of one of the family members, bound to the mansion by the malevolent forces they had unleashed. The ghostly figure reached out toward us, and before we could react, it possessed my date. Her eyes turned pitch black, and her voice changed into a sinister, guttural tone. "You shouldn't have come here," the spirit said, using her as a vessel. Terrified, I tried to run, but the doors and windows had sealed shut. Trapped, I could only watch as the spirit revealed its twisted plan. It needed to find a new vessel to escape the mansion, and it had chosen me. It had lured us here, knowing that the events of the past would draw us in and provide an opportunity for its escape. As the possessed figure closed in, I remembered a passage from the journal about how the spirits could be banished using a powerful artifact hidden deep within the mansion. I had to act quickly. With trembling hands, I searched for the artifact, knowing that it was my only chance of survival. The mansion seemed to come alive as I navigated its dark corridors, dodging traps and facing the malevolent spirits that guarded the artifact. Time was running out, and the ghostly figure was relentless in its pursuit. Finally, in a dusty, cobweb-covered room, I found the artifact, an ancient, ornate amulet that glowed with a faint, pulsating light. As I held it in my hand, a surge of power coursed through me, and I knew what I had to do. Returning to the possessed figure, I held the amulet up and recited the banishment incantation from the journal. The spirit wailed in agony as it was forced to leave my date's body and retreat back into the depths of the mansion. As the mansion settled back into its eerie silence, I rushed to my date's side, relieved to find her conscious but disoriented. She had no recollection of what had transpired, and I decided it was best to keep it that way. With the amulet in hand, we made our way out of the mansion, leaving behind the horrors that lay within. As we stepped outside into the cold night air, I couldn't help but feel grateful for our escape. But I knew that the malevolent spirits would never truly be gone, and that mansion would forever remain a haunted place. From that night on, we vowed never to speak of what happened inside the mansion, but the memories of the disturbing backstories and the chilling events would haunt me forever. It was a date night I would never forget, and one that would forever remind me that some places are better left undisturbed.